This is Amplify You, the podcast about you discovering your message and broadcasting it to the world. If you're a coach, author, or speaker, you'll want to tune in. If you're looking for the best return on your time investment to get your message out to the world in a bigger way, we're giving you full access and behind the scenes look of how we're running our podcast, how our clients have found success, and what you can do to launch your podcast today. The world needs your message. I'm Michelle Abraham, the host. Join my family as we unleash your unique genius and find the connections you need to launch your adventure today. Join us and let's get amplified. Hello, Amplify You family. Michelle Abraham here. I am bringing you an Ask the Expert interview today. My guest is Chella Diaz, and Chella knew from a very young age that she would go to a farmer's market. In fact, she was only 9 years old. She would go to the farmer's market and knew what the vendors had, the best produce at the lowest price. She purchased her first car at 17 and her first home at 23. Oh my gosh. She was married for 17 years and has 2 sons. And over the last 15 years has been on a very spiritual journey like many of our guests. So Chella's been hosting workshops and empowering people to master their money skills. So her simple approach is really great. I just interviewed Chella on the Blissful Parenting podcast as well. We really talked about families and how they can help their finances. And I'm excited to dive in here from more of a business standpoint. But she really helps people empower their money skills, and her approach is to creating a spending plan. I love that, rather than a savings plan, and that will serve you for many years to come and allow you to reach your financial goals with grace and joy. So Chella, welcome.
It is a pleasure to be here. I am so glad we're doing this. This is going to be so much fun.
I know, so exciting. So I just love this. You are the money lady and the money coach. And I just love, I love this because I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, the money thing is like, it's this thing that's there, right? Like it's this thing that we know we got to do. We got to add it all up at the end of the day. We need to make revenue. We need to save some. We need to pay ourselves, but it's just a lot of stuff. And for creative entrepreneurs, especially, I think I know I'm speaking from experience here, that the money thing has always been like an afterthought, where it's like you're going after your dreams, doing your thing, providing a great service, but then taking care of the finances is a bit of a struggle. So talk to us about your experience. Like what made you get so interested in finances at 9 years old? Like I find that so fascinating.
I thought it was fun. You know, let us be totally honest and transparent here. So I thought it was fun. And I didn't really realize that other people looked at money in a different way until I met my husband. And I know that may sound silly, but money is not something we talk about, right? It's not like we sit at the table and we talk about our experiences about money, how we're saving money, how we're investing money. We just don't have those conversations. But when you're in a relationship, so that's when I found out that, oh my God, he doesn't think the same way I do about money.
There's probably a lot of people that had that same experience.
Right. So and so for our couples out there is if you have that money conversation with your significant other, right? It's find out how they view money, find out where you view money. But I especially love our entrepreneurs, right? Because when we first start our business, there's so many shiny objects, like so many things we just think that we need to get. And that is just not the case. I hate to break it to you. I happen to know somebody who has a program and it's $50,000 to join her in her program. And she uses Zoom at the 45-minute mark, so it's free. And she uses Google to get the application, right? So all of these 2 things are free.
Free, wow.
Right? I mean, and I mentioned how much her investment is because she's just one powerhouse. And now, obviously when she started, that's what she was doing. Now she does have a couple of more systems in place, but at the beginning, you don't need to spend a heck of a lot of money to get yourself going.
Yeah, so true. I'm actually doing a softwares and the subscription detox this month. So I have had a lot of things that I no longer use, don't need, have found better versions of. And so I'm going through detoxing and clearing it. And I can't believe how much extra money I'm finding because I'm getting rid of all of those things.
And Michelle just gave you a $10,000 tip. Because if you think about it, and so many people are doing that right now, right? And that's one of my secret ingredients to finding your money leaks. Really take an inventory of where is your money going? Do you need it? Is it a need? Is it a want? Is it time to upgrade? And which is exactly what you did. It's almost like you anticipated. But so many people are doing that. Even those $3.99 subscriptions, the $4.99s. Listen, somebody just did that, and they are now saving $700.
Wow.
Because they add up, right? You don't think of it, but they really truly add up. And also technology
off the
changes.
Top of my head, yeah, probably close to $500 just on the ones at the top of my head that I can think of right now. Wow. Yeah.
So that's $500, right?
Yeah.
That is, I mean, that's huge. That's good. That's a nice payday at the end of at the end of the year. So when you think about it, yes, you're doing it monthly, but then what is it at the end of the year if you really think and serious? So that is one. It's like take an inventory. And what can you let go? And also there's upgrades, right? And so it was great. So the other thing I would like our entrepreneurs is have some compassion for yourself. When you purchase that initial thing, it was the right thing to do at that time. Things have changed. So now you no longer need it. Right? But it's not about how much money you've been spending and how could you be wasting all this money. No, it was great. But now that you're aware of it, you can choose to do something different. Yeah. Saving $500, $700, $1,000 every month. That's $1,000. That's $12,000 a year that you could be investing.
Interesting. So I was looking back over some of my financial receipts and I was like, I didn't even use that month. And I didn't do that. Oh, why didn't I cancel that earlier? And so I found a new tool that I wanted to share with our audience today, because it's kind of helped me. Like if you're, I am in a lot of networking groups like you are, Chella. That's where we met. And some of those are monthly subscriptions. So I was losing track of when things are going out, what time, what date and everything. So I found something called trackmysub.com. And it's like how you upload your subscription amount, you type in the amount it is, and there's all sorts of subscriptions already on there specifically for entrepreneurs and online businesses, or because all the Zoom and everything was on there, Zoom and Google and all these things that you have to pay for. And it can show you at the end of the month how much you're spending, and then when the dates go out for the next one, so that if you did want to cancel, to do it before that date. There's been so many things I've canceled just after it goes through, and it's like, why was I not on that?
Compassion. We're going to have compassion, right? And also, why did we even get it? We did. It's done. It's spilt milk. Let us just concentrate on what you could do differently moving forward, right? Yeah. And even now, Michelle, when moving forward, you're going to think twice before getting into a contract, right? I say use the 72-hour cool off, right? If you want to purchase something, even if it's today's the last day, I don't even buy into that. Today's the last day you can get this for.
Or the countdown timer's on, Chella.
Oh, there you go. I don't buy into that. Go back
to the same page 3 days later. The same countdown timer's on.
I don't buy into that, but give yourself 72 hours. If after 72 hours, and this applies to business, but it also applies to personal. If it is something you want to purchase, give yourself 72 hours. If after the 72 hours is still a strong yes, you need it, you must have it, or it's a treat for yourself, then you go ahead and get it. But a lot of the times, I would say 60% of the time, you're going to change your mind within those 72 hours. And that's 60% of the money you're going to be saving now.
Yeah, I like that one. 72 hours. I mean, it seems to be a impulse purchaser when it comes to tools for my business that are really important. So yeah,
isn't it? I don't know if it's true in Canada, but here when you purchase a large purchase like a home or something, you have 72 hours to change your mind. You have 72 hours when you buy a car. You can have. Right? So that's where I took it. It's not my idea. I just borrowed it. Right? But it works.
Wow, that's great. I love it. Any other great tips for our entrepreneurs out there that are maybe, struggling a little? I
would say now that you've been saving money, I say start putting that in money into a possibility account. A possibility account is my favorite thing, because into the possibility, and we're strictly talking your business, right? Put some money into your possibility account, maybe have 3 months worth of your monthly obligations in there for your business. And what that's going to allow you, if you know that you have 3 months, 6 months of your monthly obligations already in there, when that client comes along that you know is not a fit, you're going to be able to say no, right? You're not going to be able to, you don't need to take on clients that are going to be a challenge for you. So I know we're talking money, but what that's going to allow you to do is have less stress in your life.
Yeah, it's going to allow you a little bit of like that, those choices, right? I think it's what allows you is choice.
It's beautiful, right? It's a beautiful place to be in when you can say, no, thank you, we're not a fit. Just the relief and the stress, right? And also the fact that, you don't have to go out and hustle. Yes, we're all going to work, but just that peace of mind, knowing that that's been taken care of, is just a phenomenal place to be in.
That's awesome. So, Chella, what were some of your strategies for saving when you bought a house at 23? That must have taken a little bit of discipline in planning. I'm curious as to what your strategy was there.
I did. Actually, to be quite honest, it was a little bit more difficult to save for my first car than it was for the house. I know that may sound silly, but when I bought my first car, I was going to school. I was 17 and I was working part-time. Right. So that meant, and also at 17, you want to hang out, you want to go to parties, you want to do all that. Luckily for me, my parents were very strict, so I wasn't allowed to go parties. So that took care of that. I was able to sneak away a couple of times, but no, it was just and I invite the listeners to think, what is that one thing? For me, it was more important to have a car than for me to go out and party, go to the concerts, go to the movies, go out to eat. And I worked at a fast food restaurant, so I got my food taken care of. But so I invite you, because when you have that one thing that you want to achieve, even including paying off debt, if that's the driving force, it makes it a lot easier. And when you begin to see that possibility account begin to grow, it makes it even easier. Just watching that account growing and growing, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to say no to some of these shiny objects. One more tip for the listeners, and that is the possibility accounts I recommend should be in a different institution than the one where you have your checking account.
That's the case.
Because we want to trick ourselves. And that's the other thing. I trick myself, right? So that savings account, the possibility account, is in a different institution. So that way you can't really swipe and transfer over money. Right? It's almost like out of mind. You keep putting money in there, but you don't get to see it. It's not easy to transfer from one account into another account.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh,
Trick yourself.
That. Great tip. And I just, I think this is so fascinating. So tell us a little bit about more. We know you teach workshops and you have boot camp, you've written a book. Tell us a little bit more about what you do with people and who your favorite audience is to work with.
My audience, definitely, my primary is definitely women and awakened men, right? Men and women that are making an impact. They're leaders. They have money coming in, but they're not keeping as much as they would like, right? And part of it is what we just went through, and they're, finding where your money leaks are. But also I find that a lot of entrepreneurs are not charging their value. And that's my genius. It's helping you see and helping you position yourself so that you're able to get a higher price, or you're able to increase your fees.
How about you guys out there would like to do that? Sure, a lot of my audience would like to increase their prices to keep more money in their pockets. That sounds like a good plan.
And I find that a lot of that, it goes back to our childhood. So that's my area of expertise. It's helping my clients connect the dots from that money conversation they listened to as a child to their current financial picture, identifying what's ready to be let go. Because let's face it, the adults do give us a lot of their own beliefs. They're not even ours.
Like the classic, you have to work hard for your money. I'm like, I gotta keep getting that out of my head. Get that one out of my head.
Right. It's about how can we let it go? So that's what I do. I help them identify what those conversations were, release them so that you're able to not only increase your price, but also have less stress, right? Create that possibility account. It's just magnificent.
Yeah, allows for you to have all sorts of new opportunities, I'm sure. And if you really wanted that piece of software, you can go buy it with that. I love your tip for the 72-hour cool down. That's fantastic. Any great ways like tracking, like money tracking tips or tools or resources that you use that would be helpful for our entrepreneurs?
I truly am an old fashioned. I still go through the paper. I know there's a lot of different apps that you can plug into, but for me, there's something about watching it. You have to know, right? And I have a list. And then when you see that in writing, to me, it's just a constant reminder, right? There's some phenomenal tips. There really are, but you have to know, every single day you should know what are your monthly obligations. How much does it take for you to run your business? Right. And a lot of us don't. We have money coming in, we have money going out. But know your numbers. What is that number? Because then you can figure out if you need $5,000 a month to keep up your business, and your program is $5,000, then you know that in order to have a great life, all you need to do is go out and get 3 clients, right? It's makes it a lot easier to identify what that is.
Right. Yeah. That's a great strategy to make sure you know your numbers. And I know that's something that is not new. You guys have heard that, our listeners have heard that before, but really knowing your numbers is going to allow you that freedom. And I always talk about this a lot on this show is like, I'm so against like structure and rules and things like that. But I've realized, as I get older, that the structure and the freedom and that, like knowing your numbers and those kind of things is what allows you the freedom and what allows you to do the things that you want to do. So I am learning, it's maybe taking this little duck a lot longer than most, but I am learning that freedom comes from the discipline to know those things. So do you recommend like a weekly check-in on your numbers, a monthly check-in? What do you suggest?
I definitely know your numbers, definitely. And I would say, let's make it easier. I'd say do it quarterly, right? Because things change. And every month, I don't want it to be painful. Every month will be ideal, right? But look at them and know what the number is and then check in quarterly, right? Because if you're quarterly, you say, well, do I really need this, right? Not just look at the numbers, but do I really need this ABC where I'm paying $29 a month? Right. You know what I mean? Really spending some time with it, so that you're getting, and things upgrade and things change, right? So he said, I say quarterly, but at least know what that is. If it's 2,000, 3,000, know that off the top of your head and then review it quarterly.
That's great. I love that. It's interesting. There was a couple of softwares that I was going through and counseling and downgrading and all these kind of things. Like we had 2 different social media plans going on. So we just needed one. We scaled down a little bit. So one of the things I found in a couple of softwares, and this might be a tip for our listeners out there, is that some of them will allow you to keep your account open if you're not using it actively for like $9 a month versus like $100 a month. So watch out for those ones. I came across 3 of them the other day as I was downgrading, and most of them I didn't need the $9 one. But if I was maybe I was creating a course in a couple of months from now and I didn't want to lose what I had started, then that might be something I might think about doing rather than just canceling it and starting over.
That's another $10,000 tip, folks, right? It is. Those $100 add up. Yeah, when I say 10,000 in 3 years, you would have $10,000 invested in that.
Yeah, that's scary when you think about it that way. And for us Canadians, when we can transfer from US to Canadian dollars, that's a whole other 30% on there.
There you go. So but now that you're aware of that, it's just know your numbers. If we can do anything, if you take nothing from this call, just go out and start looking at those numbers.
Don't be afraid of it, right? And I think for me, it's like more carving out the time to sit down and look at those, right? Yeah. Not being afraid of what they're going to say. And if they're not where you want them to be, then at least you know where they are so you can make a change. Because if you don't know, you don't know.
Exactly, right? If you don't know, you don't know. If you don't ask, the answer is no, right? Yeah. But now if you're looking at your numbers, at least you know where they are and what can you do, right? What can you let go? Maybe get an additional client to get you to where you want to be.
I love that. Speaking about clients, Chella, how do you work with your clients? Do you have an online program? Do you have
I do have an online program, and I do have a one-on-one program as well. And then, of course, my magic program, 90 Day, to help you get your business to the next level. That's truly one of my favorites. They're all my favorites. It's like having 3 kids, but they're all my favorites.
Yeah.
No, the 90 days is,
don't tell the other one.
Yeah, don't tell the other ones. The 90, which one are you going to spend more time with? The 90 day, I like it because it's really about helping my entrepreneurs carve the path to abundance and prosperity. It involves all of that. So that's truly my favorite, but they're all great, right? Depending on where you are, because everybody's going to need something different. Sometimes people just need that quick, just help me get over this little bump, and that's great. We can do that. So, but yeah, I just thank you for the opportunity for sharing that, and go out and learn what your numbers are.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Chella, thank you so much. We'll leave it at that. We'll have you back on again for round 2 with you. And if you're a parent out there, I also interviewed Chella on the Blissful Parenting podcast today. So go check that out as well. And it's about talking about money to your kids and like what it means to your kids when you say I can't afford it. So make sure you go check out that one too on Blissful Parenting, the Blissful Parenting podcast. So thank you so much, Chella, and make sure you go reach out, find Chella on Facebook, Chella Diaz, and it's chelladiaz.com. So make sure you go reach out. Thank Chella for all of her $1 million ideas that she gave us today. And mine were the $10,000 ones, but hers were the $1 million ones that are going to get us far where we are today. So thank you so much, Chella. It's so great chatting with you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome. All right, Amplify You family out there. Make sure you go out there, share your message with the world, and make an impact in the lives of others with your message. Until next time, talk to you next week.